It's the end of the week, and so it's time to take out the trash. Okay, so I'll be going first. My garbage person of the week this week is the garbage person for, I believe, the first time in TDR history, and it is Joe Rogan. Why? Well, if you follow the news, I think you already know why. But let me feed the beast here. It gets hungry in its head. Okay, so why? What's that?
You put the eyeballs on the top or turn it upside down and shove the garbage person up in its mouth.
That's a good point. It's getting dangerous there. Anyway, why would he be the garbage person? Well, it has to do with a bit of audio from his incredibly popular podcast. Listen to Joe Rogan here.
Enjoy going there. I actually love Portland. It's one of my favorite places to perform. Most of the people there are very nice. But there's a madness going on there. You want to talk about madness of crowds? That exemplifies that right now. And it's to me, they've arrested people for lighting forest fires up there. They've arrested left-wing people for lighting these forest fires. Air quote activists. And this is something that's also not widely being reported, that people have actually been arrested for lighting fires up there.
Okay, so I'm gonna focus on that last part. So he points out that it's not widely reported. Turns out there is a reason for that. It's that it's not true. It's not only not true, but it has been debunked, and it had been debunked days before he did that. Widely debunked, widely shared, easily accessible fact checking on that claim that had been opportunistically and partisanly spread by right-wing media sources like Breitbart. I mean, a lot of people saw these tweets from FBI Portland that said that reports that extremists are setting wildfires in Oregon are untrue. Help us stop the spread of misinformation by only sharing information from trusted official sources. They go on to say, conspiracy theories and misinformation take valuable resources away from local fire and police agencies working around the clock to bring these fires under control. Please help our entire community by only sharing validated information from official sources. So yes, when they have to chase down these conspiracy theories, that damages their ability to save lives, save property, and all of that. Both Reuters and factcheck.org have conducted further investigation, finding no evidence to back the claims, with the former noting that local Oregon police departments have been working to, quote, debunk misinformation spreading on social media platforms regarding the fake claims of forest fires. And how bad has it become? It's become this bad. Over the past weekend, Facebook began cracking down on the spread of this conspiracy theory days before Rogan's podcast. It's so bad that it's a conspiracy theory that even Facebook is fighting against.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It is a lie. Conspiracy theory is like a lot of people got together to come up with this lie and perpetuate it. No. This is just a lie. No one's deep inside the government making this happen. This is a bunch of liars lying. That's it. Don't even give it the credit to be a conspiracy theory. Theory is a word in science that it's more than a hypothesis. This is just a freaking lie. And you want to talk about Joe? Yeah, what do you want to do?
Yeah, and it's a lie with a point, because it wasn't just, oh, I think that's what the fires came from, when it's not, which I guess you could just be wrong. I would argue the reason that he ends up in here is because we have decided as a society, indeed as a world, that he should be the biggest purveyor of news for our species. And so that's what he is. And so he has a massive platform, and thus, in the style of Marvel, with great power comes great responsibility. You need to know what you're talking about, especially when millions of people will go away from listening to that podcast that is 100, maybe 1,000 times bigger than this podcast, and will say, oh, that's what it is. I don't have to worry about these fires. I certainly don't have to worry about climate change, because it's not climate change. It's left-wing, air quotes, activists, because he doesn't even believe that those protesters in the Portland area are actual activists, apparently. He's spreading misinformation that is consequential in a number of different ways to manipulate people into believing political things that are not accurate, okay? That is the definition of garbage when it comes to media.
Yeah, and let's connect it with another thing in the news. Joe Rogan saying, I'd like to moderate a debate with the presidential candidates.
Yeah.
And a lot of people saying, this is a great idea, this is an awesome idea. It's so exhausting. Like, I like Joe Rogan. Like, I like his comedy. I like that he made people eat bugs. Like, I like that he is definitely.
That was a good show.
I like that he's smarter than Dave Rubin. I love that when he's like,
he's 100 times smarter than Dave Rubin.
That's the thing, is just because he's smarter than Dave Rubin, so's the puppies you're about to see. Because you passed the threshold. Like those puppies are smarter than Dave Rubin. Their minds are not reeling from such high level ideas in recovery mode. Like, but here's the problem with Joe Rogan, is that the asset of Joe Rogan is that he will listen and he'll have a conversation. But unfortunately, he doesn't have that instinct to then like do the research or retain anything else. He thinks he can do it all on the spot. When if he just did a little bit more research. And then also like, if we kept it in the context of him moderating a debate, it is very certain that Donald Trump being there would make him feel so jazzed and so awesome that we are positively reinforcing the behavior that led him to spread a debunked BS thing, a lie. Yeah. We're saying, here you go. Just because you're an everyman who sits there and asks questions, that is not the job of a moderator. The job of the moderator is to not let them get away with stuff if they're lying, or at least identify what to press them on. Because while he is equipped to combat things that sound like BS to him, he is not equipped to detect all the BS that's happening.
You're 100% right. Yeah, like he is perhaps uniquely not qualified to do it, because his draw, why people like him, is he lets people come on and say things. But that's not what a debate is supposed to be about. Now, finally, on this, is he lying? I don't know. I doubt it. No. He seems much more like the sort of guy that just gets things wrong because he believes the wrong people. That seems to be a sort of constant thread, is that he tries to engage with these things. He's open-minded and all of that. But unfortunately, he exposes himself to people who are wrong or manipulative or BS. So that seems more likely. The issue is, as I alluded to earlier, you're the biggest one ever anywhere. So you cannot be routinely wrong about things that are incredibly consequential, let alone all the other potential problems. In this area, it's too important to get it wrong. And I doubt a retraction or an apology will come. I hope that it will, because millions of people will hear that too. But it's certainly needed.
Yeah. There was another thing he did in the news recently where he talks about dead naming, and he's like, and some people are like, he's just pointing out how bad cancel culture is. Yes, it's fine. Cancel culture needs like 3 different titles for all the ways it's used. Like there's cancel culture when someone else does it. There's cancel culture when you're defending what you think should be negative consequences for everybody. And then there's cancel culture that someone is like trying to give you a reason for dismissing an entire discussion. Those are 3 different things, and everyone calls it cancel culture. It's so very frustrating.
Get lumped together.
But like, this comes down to it. Like, if he thinks that this thing of left-wing activists setting this lie that left-wing activists set a fire in Portland is so cool that he wants to put all his energy into discussing that and him being cool because he's on the inside of it. But he needs to spend a little bit of effort researching to see if it's true. And he doesn't do that. The same way when it comes to like dead naming, he wants to spend so much effort finding some philosophical way for him to get a get out of jail free card for being a jerk, rather than spending like 2 seconds to figure out what the criticisms are of people who dead name trans folks. Like that's it. Just figure it out. Because I know he's decent at some point. He just doesn't, he's still a performer. He's still a stand-up, and all stand-ups are neurotic balls of garbage. I mean, it's true. I mean,
you say that as a stand-up,
as someone who has done it before. Not like I don't do it, haven't done it much, but like, yes, like the comedic mind is the most like completely neurotic and messed up mind. Like you have to find out like what's wrong with stuff and point out. But so he still has that, and that makes him want to defend himself rather than ever admit that he made a mistake. Yeah. But that's what's so frustrating, and it's just misplaced effort.
Yeah. So we have a quick update. Look, this is the way of garbage, people. When we throw someone in the trash, it causes an effect in the world. So as of 2 minutes ago, Joe Rogan, who I have to assume was watching the show, tweeted, I effed up on the podcast with Douglas Murray and said that people got arrested lighting fires in Portland. That turns out to not be true.
But
we already knew it wasn't true beforehand, but That turns out to not be true. I was very irresponsible not looking into it before I repeated it. That's good that he said that. I read one story about a guy getting arrested for lighting fires. Turned out to be true, but the other S I read about people getting arrested for lighting fires in Portland was not true. I repeated it without looking into it. And it was a really effing stupid mistake that won't happen again. I'm sorry. I would just critique that one story that he's talking about was about a person who was not affiliated with those groups, who was lighting a tiny little fire in like the median, not causing a forest fire. So there's some good stuff in the apology. Hopefully he talks about it on the podcast as well.
Just so that, yeah, how many people it takes. But like if he hosted if he moderated a debate, Trump would have gotten away with it.
Yeah, a tweet the next day wouldn't have solved it. Yeah, 100%. So good that he apologized. Hopefully he does it on the actual platform that he told the misinformation on. That'll do to whatever extent that it can be reversed. Maybe some of that will happen. We'll see. I don't know. It caused a lot of news coverage of the story. Some of that might have trickled down to right wingers. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, these things are consequential. We got to get it right, whether you're small, medium, or the biggest source of news on the planet. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.